Time now for this week's Health Matters. Paul Critz with you, along with host PA Lynn Szabo. And you were talking about this as a favorite topic of yours. It's an interesting topic of mine as well.
Yeah, it's my favorite vice, actually.
Is it a vice? Is that what we're going to end up with now? Is that?
No, actually, it has a undeserved bad reputation.
Okay,
yeah,
good. That makes me
there's good
hopeful.
things about caffeine.
Caffeine.
That's the topic. Caffeine. So the most common socially acceptable stimulant worldwide, and this blew me away. 90% of adults worldwide use caffeine daily. So today, 90%, if you believe the statistic, 90% of the people in the world are going to use caffeine.
So what would that be? That would be about what, 6.5 billion people?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
7 billion? What's 90%? I don't even know where we are right now. We're above 7, so I
Yeah,
don't
we're
even
above
know.
7. I think we're closer to 8.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's super hard to study the effects because it's in so many things and we ingest it in so many different ways that it's hard to have an experiment that actually isolates just the caffeine to study
Wow. So
the singular effect.
over and above, I know. I mean, the third thing is you've got your coffee and tea, and then everybody knows, certain, cola drinks and chocolate. Are there? I guess maybe we'll get into it. Other naturally
Well, there's
occurring.
pills. There's, energy drinks. There's shots. There's Dutch Bros,
which some of which have just scary amounts of caffeine in them.
Right.
Okay. All right. We'll get on.
Right.
I don't want to blow too much. I want to,
So is caffeine safe? Well, probably up to 400 milligrams a day for adults is safe. And most people in the United States, on the average, drink about 2 cups of coffee, and that's 280 milligrams total.
Okay.
So if you're only drinking your standard 2 cups of coffee, you're probably okay.
Oh.
And I think that assumes, not Americano, so no shots in there of anything.
Yeah,
Right.
no extra. Is there now? I've heard too. No, I don't know. Maybe this is the wrong topic. Maybe I should get a barista for this. But I've also heard there's more caffeine in just regular old roast coffee as opposed to espresso. That's a barista. That's a barista question.
I think that goes back to kind of the first conundrum is there's so many variables in that it's impossible to just have a standard answer.
Right, because
so it depends.
It depends on how you grind it and
Yeah.
how much surface area is exposed, all kinds of things. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Exactly. So heavy use of coffee is more than 4 cups a day. I thought that was a little low because I hang out with a lot of people, drink a lot of coffee, I guess. But and the heaviest drinkers are usually male, people who smoke, and white. I thought that was kind of interesting. I think there's kind of that people who are using nicotine also like to use it in certain circumstances. And a cup of coffee is
That's one of them.
usually part of it. Like first thing in the
glass
morning.
glass
for
of booze is another.
yeah,
Right?
in a bar or first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and energy drinks have an average of 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine per drink, but I think a can is 2 servings, right?
I don't
Probably
think-
depends
I've never had
on
an
what you
energy drink.
pick.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I sipped a Rockstar once and I didn't like it, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, I didn't like
I've
it
never
either.
done that stuff.
But anyway, energy drinks can cause toxicity really easy, and a lot of people have problems with atrial fibrillation, which is near regular heart rate, and everybody's favorite, seizures.
Everybody's favorite. So how much caffeine are we talking about? This is the answer. Probably comes down to it varies person to
It
person.
depends.
But yeah, I mean, how much caffeine's going to give you a seizure?
I think maybe if you're not used to it, maybe like 6 cups of coffee. And
If
it
you're not used,
probably
sure.
depends on other stuff you're doing, like what your susceptibility to seizures is.
Yeah, right.
Do you have them in the family? Have you had a traumatic brain injury?
Yeah.
Are you on other medication that could make it worse? Yada, yada.
See, I know how people and certain people who want to teach other people other things, they say there are no stupid questions. That was a stupid
Right.
question.
I don't know. I appreciated it. But there's a lot of good stuff that caffeine does. And
Yes.
that's part of the reason I'm talking about this today is oftentimes if I'm in the exam room and I'm talking about somebody about maybe quitting smoking or losing weight, a common deflection, I think it's a subconscious deflection ploy is to say, well, I'm really trying to cut down caffeine. And I do the same thing with my face that you just did, like
So
relevance.
yeah.
But caffeine does. So I think people think that caffeine is a bad thing.
I thought for men too. I've also heard that just black coffee for men is actually can help them lose weight.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff that caffeine does. It obviously increases cognition and mood. All right. That's why we grab it first thing in the morning. It increases alertness. Duh. It helps with headaches. So it's in a lot of medication that people take for headaches.
Does it dilate vascular stuff? Is that why?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. But it can also, withdrawal is also usually felt as a headache. It decreases the risk for Parkinsonians, except in postmenopausal women who are on HRT.
That's very specific.
I
Okay.
know.
Okay. So is HRT is that's hormone replacement
therapy. So apparently the benefit doesn't extend to women who are postmenopausal and taking estrogen and progesterone.
But everybody else,
if you're not in that group, it could decrease your risk for Parkinson's.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It has a small protective effect against Alzheimer's.
Okay.
That's
I imagine
cool.
plaque buildup or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more you have to use it or you lose it thing.
Oh, so it just firing your brain?
It made your cognition better.
Sure. It's the opposite of like losing your hearing and being cut off, right? Okay.
Exactly. Average consumption can protect against heart attack.
Wow.
Yeah, who knew that? It can decrease the risk of diabetes, but the mechanism here is super unclear. All these mechanisms are unclear, actually, but they felt like that was important to say. Maybe by causing people to lose a little bit of weight. Because caffeine, of course, is in a lot of over-the-counter diet aids. It decreases constipation. We all know that one.
In about 7 minutes. That's right.
And go. Decreases risk of cirrhosis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, the mechanism is unknown. I don't know if that means you can drink and just think that your liver's protected. So just drink alcohol and know that since you're a coffee drinker, your liver is protected.
Or is it just that you're drinking coffee instead of alcohol? And maybe that's why it does it.
It's a mechanism and could go anywhere there. And then decreases risk of gout.
Okay, so
which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting. Help me understand. Okay, I'm not even sure I appreciate truly what gout is.
It's horrible.
It's a joke in my mind. It's a rich fat person joke. And what is?
No, actually, there's a Porter Mail Del Norte problem. So there's a significant number of families here that have a genetic problem with their metabolism and they get gout. Now, it's not the only way to be at risk for gout or to actually have gout, but these guys suffer and they start suffering really early. And, they're always in the ER trying to get some relief for it.
What is it?
It's really sad. So gout is the precipitation of uric acid from the bloodstream into a crystallized form and usually a dependent joint. That's why we always think of it as being in the toes.
So that's like having grit in your joints then, right?
Yes.
Ouch. Oh my God. That does sounds horrible.
It's like sand in the works.
Right.
Yeah. And it has an acute onset, usually overnight. It's so painful that they'll tell you they can't even tolerate a sheet on it. So,
oh my God.
And they, some people will get it because of, I don't know, usually football games is associated in the ER with things like the game that's going to happen today because people drink a lot of beer and that puts
so not participating in football but watching football. Okay,
right. But there's also some genetic, like I mentioned, genetic syndromes that can cause it, and it's usually way more in men than women, which is kind of interesting. Oddly enough, when I've seen it in young men, sometimes it's because those people had renal failure they didn't know about.
Oh, wow.
So for me, if it's in a 30 to 40-something-year-old male, and then as they age, but if I see it in young men, I worry about their kidneys.
Huh. Okay, thanks for that little remedial thing. I've never understood what gout was. I've not a clue, so thank you. So I'm just curious, you're saying that all of these benefits that caffeine has exhibited and the mechanisms for which aren't really understood. I mean, Looking at this, at all of these different kinds of things, could something as basic as just sort of affecting, as we've talked about in other topics, inflammation, just kind of across the board? Is there something that it could be affecting in that regard that just changes?
Yeah, totally. I think gout's a clue to that.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So, and then it also does bad stuff, but it really didn't. I couldn't find a lot of bad stuff.
Really?
So weirdly, it causes rebound headaches. So if somebody's a kind of physiologically addicted to caffeine, and that's no diss to them, okay? A lot of adults are physiologically addicted. When we don't have it, we get headaches, okay? And like I mentioned before, it increases the risk of Parkinson's disease in women who are postmenopausal on hormone replacement. So it not only fails to decrease the risk, but it actually increases risk. It increases anxiety. Okay, that should be pretty obvious. And it increases the risk of, for some reason, of osteoporosis and rheumatoid arthritis, which are diseases that mostly affect women, but also do occasionally see them in men. Osteoporosis is probably underdiagnosed, underrecognized in men.
Really?
So, yeah. So that's all the bad stuff I could find, really. As long as you're using it in like the standard way. So you're two to 4 cups of coffee a day, or coffee equivalent. But there is no association with cancer.
No association meaning what? Nothing causing or prophylactically or anything?
It doesn't seem to be a factor in whether somebody develops cancer or not. So people are always a little leery about their caffeine. And I think this is the unstated reason they're worried. We're always worried about something that could cause cancer. But that's not relevant here.
Huh, be darned.
Okay. And the rate of all-cause mortality, let me just say what all-cause mortality is. So this is kind of a cool thing in medicine. These are studies where they look not to see if somebody's died of this particular disease or that particular disease, but all of the possibilities that somebody could die. So the rate of all-cause mortality is down for both coffee and tea drinkers. As long as you're enjoying moderate use, you can use it without worrying.
Wow.
Yeah. Super cool.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that we've talked about that has been like that.
No.
I don't know of anything else that we've...
No, nothing that I can think of. And obviously it's a big deal because people wait in line for, 15, 20 minutes at Dutch Bros in the morning to get their drink of choice. I know Dutch Bros gift cards are, the usual go-to present that people at the clinic give each other and things like Christmas or birthdays. So, I myself am a tea drinker, so I think coffee tastes terrible. And you've already mentioned you don't really like energy drinks.
Yeah.
I don't really like them either.
But I love coffee, and that's why I don't go to Dutch Bros.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm in the same, I just go to buy the little gift cards. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of tea, and when I was in PA school, maybe this is a Southern thing, but Jolt Cola. You remember Jolt?
I do remember Jolt Cola, yeah.
Twice the caffeine and all the sugar.
And all the sugar, yeah.
Oh, my
Twice
God.
the caffeine and all the sugar. I actually had my first radio job just after high school. That was my first full-time radio job, which was graveyard, midnight to 6. And I didn't drink coffee until mostly through college. And it was Jolt Cola. And that's when they had Jolt in a Coke machine in the back of the radio station. I get one of those at midnight, and that'd get me through till 6.
You go. Yeah.
Good Lord. Wow. And I guess I always, even then I'd look at it, and you look at something like that, and you think the caffeine is what you should be worried about, when really it's the sugar.
It was the sugar.
Yeah, the whole time.
Turned out to be the sugar.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy about that, because I think after all of these years, I have I've come up. I'm experiencing a very nice relationship with caffeine right now. It's just with all the eating and blood sugar and cholesterol concerns and things that I've had recently, the last couple of months, and losing weight. And so just having 2 cups, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, I'm good.
Call it good.
I look forward to them. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like finally a vice.
Yeah.
That we don't have to worry about.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's super good. And remember, caffeine is in chocolate.
Yeah.
Which also sugar, but yeah.
Yeah, and you can lessen. That's why the dark chocolate is, and all that stuff. But I was just looking to see if there is, because it seems like the biggest health concern regarding caffeine in modern American culture is too much of it. I know that there are some Dutch bros, and I'm sorry we keep slamming on Dutch bros. People listening in any other part of the world will not understand what we're talking about.
Right.
It's a regional coffee kiosk chain, like a drive-through Starbucks kind of thing, and we've got them all over here. And they make what I call a whole bunch of the clown drinks. When you have it's a coffee drink, but it's blended and it looks like a milkshake and it's got all this other crap in it. I'm going, okay, all right. And it's got sparklers and sprinkles and things. It seems like the biggest concern would be too much. I know some of those clown drinks from places like Dutch Bros can have 800 milligrams of caffeine in them.
And they're huge.
Yeah.
What's your average cup of coffee? Maybe 4 ounces.
Oh, no. I give it 8.
Okay, mine is 4, but
You get a little cup?
yeah, kind of.
I get a mug.
All right, but those look to me like they're 16 or maybe even greater.
Yeah.
They look like something you would buy at 7-Eleven.
Exactly,
huge,
like a big gulp sort of thing, and so that's
Right.
just bad for you anyway. But yeah, and again, I think even if you get that drink, you've got 800 milligrams of caffeine coursing through your body. Again, with something that big. The 16, 24-ounce drink that you have, it's the sugar and all the other crap in it you're going to have to worry about.
Yeah, totally.
Caffeine's the best thing in that for you.
So go forth and drink caffeine as long as you're not really drinking sugar with a little bit of caffeine.
In moderation, right?
Yeah,
right?
in moderation, and don't be worried about it. Don't try and use it to distract your provider from your 2-pack a day smoking issue.
How does that work for you? How's that exchange? I did not understand. So you will say, hey, maybe quit smoking and eat better, and they go, oh, but I'm trying to quit caffeine.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
it.
Okay, so what? Quit the
Yeah.
one thing has no consequence for you,
Right.
right?
Exactly. I think they're trying to distract me, and I just kind of go, well, okay, back to the nicotine.
Like you go, oh, wow, you certainly know what's going on. That's great. You've got it all together. Tell you what, go ahead and keep smoking.
Yeah. Oh, okay then. That changes everything.
Okay, well, I've already had my morning cup of coffee. I'm looking forward already to my afternoon cup of coffee. That's wonderful. Anything else about caffeine we should know or worry about?
No, but I do want to just drop a teaser, I guess, for next week, because I'm starting to think about what's called hypochondriac, but really is better known as health anxiety disorder.
Ooh.
It's kind of a particular focus of people's anxieties sometime in the exam room. And I have seen it cause some damage to people. And so I kind of want to look at it in more detail and then review what somebody can. There's a new study out in JAMA last December that really says people with this disorder don't do well. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to be warning people about it. It's not that uncommon in the exam rooms, but it's not hugely common either.
Oh, that's really intriguing because I think I suffer from that.
Okay.
If I'm around somebody who's sick for the next half hour, I'm getting sick, I can feel it, it's going to be bad and all this other, I can really get in my own head about things like
Definitely anxiety disorder.
that. Oh my gosh,
There's
wow.
meds for that, Paul.
I don't need meds. I can go, hey, don't do that. And I'm able to
that's
stop
good.
doing that.
That's
yeah.
super good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
some people can't, and they
Yeah.
can't let go of it. And if you say, I try not to use the word hypochondriac, because what that sounds like to a patient is,
Oh, you're making
I'm
it up.
completely blowing it off, you crazy person.
Right,
and that's
right.
not really the thing here. So
Because again, it also seems like the more we learn about how we work as human beings and physiological things, we're porous all over, like everything. Everything, it changes our DNA. Just being in the world changes us. And it also seems the more we find out how much just the internal states change us as well and affect physical reality for us. And so you can't just go, hey, don't do that. Talk yourself out of that. Yeah, that's not going to affect you. Or I'm a hypochondriac. So what? Well, no, I guess it could actually make things worse.
No, the JAMA article is super interesting. I'll talk more about that next week.
Okay. All right. I look forward to that. Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks.
Go get yourself a cup of coffee on us.
Ick. I don't like coffee.